In this video, I'm going to be going over how I close $6,000 clients with a fairly small following. Now, just to put some proof up on the screen right away, I've collected payments at £2,250. Some of these were split pay, so I had $3,000 payments, $1,500 payments, another £2.25 payment, which is around $3,000 each. And my channel isn't the largest. Like, I have 1.38k subscribers, almost 1.4 thousand subscribers, which I'm very, very grateful for. But if you put into perspective, it's not the largest channel. Now, in this video, I'm going to be going over quite a few things that I believe allow me to close $6,000 clients in general. And if you are a coach, if you're a mentor, and you want to make a lot more of your coaching business, or even charge $6,000 for your coaching business, I highly recommend you watch throughout this video, because all of the stuff that I will relay will very much apply to your coaching business. Although I'm not a coach, what I do for a living is I'm a fractional CMO in coaches' businesses, and I help them scale with proven systems. So that's exactly what I'm going to be going over in this video, because it basically applies to any part of business you go to if it's online. So first things first, the one thing that I always speak about in my YouTube videos is the ideal client profile, or in other words, the ICP. Okay, this is a word that I definitely want you to learn, because if you learn this acronym right here, and if you really learn the importance of it, it's going to land you so many deals. And really, you will not be able to close $6,000 deals if you do not understand your ICP, or in other words, your ideal client profile, which is basically the ideal type of client you would like to work with. And how do we do that? Well, essentially, we need to know everything about them, right? In order for you to find a girlfriend that is good for you, you have to know what you want first, and you have to know kind of what you're looking for. So this is the same thing here. Now, I've kind of mapped this thing out into pains, desires, previous attempts, and beliefs, okay? And we'll be going over all of them. So if we just dive straight into pains, you want to figure out exactly what their current situation is, okay? You want to find out what is the weight of how much do they actually want to be successful, and you'll want to find out what specifically about that current situation really triggers them, which in this case, in most cases, if you're a coach, is going to be very much related to working hard and not really getting the results that they expect, whether that is therapy, whether that is how to make money online. You know, they tried all these business models and nothing worked for them. So you want to really figure that out. Then the next thing is desires. So this is where you kind of want to ask the what, the when, the how, the why, okay? Like, you want to understand success. Like, they want to be successful. How do they want to be successful? They want to be happy. Why do they want to be happy? Okay, what do they class as happy? What do they class as successful? How do you, because successful is a subjective thing. You know, you can be a successful basketball player, you can be a successful football player, or you can be a successful artist, but success means different things to different people. So you want to identify what is success to them. Why do they want to be happy? If so, what's going to happen when they want to be happy? When they will be happy? Okay, they want to be fulfilled. What do they want to be fulfilled in? What is fulfillment for them? You want to identify all of these things, because once you do, you have them locked down on their desires, okay? And it's kind of like you know them off by heart. And once you know all of this, I'll get into it later in the video, and how you can really utilize this to charge large amounts when it comes to your coaching, and also make a crap ton from each client, rather than taking on these cheap clients who keep giving you headache and giving you chargebacks. And last but not least, they probably want to feel complete. Okay, the whole point of this desire point is for them to feel complete. The only reason people want to get rich is because they want the freedom, and when they get the freedom, they feel complete. Now, what is being complete to them? How do they want to feel complete? If so, what is that going to feel like for them? What is that life going to look like? And then we quickly move on to previous attempts. Now, this is where we really ask the what, the why, the how, the when, and last but not least, how long. Okay, what have they attempted? Why hasn't it worked? Okay, how did it even work when they tried it? And how do they think it didn't work? When did they try this? Was it a year ago? Was it 2 years ago? Was it 5 years ago? If you tried drop shipping 5 years ago, okay, does it mean that it won't work now? If you tried therapy 5, 6, 7, even, a decade ago, 10 years ago, does that mean that therapy won't work for you now? Or does that mean that maybe you may have changed as a human and developed over those last 10 years, and maybe it might help you now? You want to identify when, okay? You want to identify how. What did they even do when it came to therapy? What did they do when it came to doing the business model? If they tried dropshipping, what did they actually do? What strategies were they using? How were they trying to drive these results? What did they try in the first place? Okay, this is the first one. And last but not least, how long did they try it for? Because as you know, right, I'm sure on the other side of the screen, you are a very smart person. You know that good things take time. And anything that deserves, this desired point of feeling complete, fulfilled, happy, successful. It takes time. And funnily enough, a lot of people don't succeed because they don't give it enough time. So we need to identify how long they did it for, because once you kind of identify that, it helps you later down the line, which I'm going to mention later in the video. I'm going to get onto this. This is all going to make, I know this might not make any sense why you need to identify any of this, but trust me, just trust me on this. I'm going to get later in the video and you'll be like, wow, this is amazing. This is exactly what I would needed to know. And ultimately, you want to get onto the beliefs, right? You want to see what limiting beliefs they have, what mental blocks or false paradigms they may have that are blocking them from getting to their desired point. Because it's very hard to propose a solution when you don't know what they've tried already. Okay, and it's very hard to use that against them when you say, okay, this is going to work for you. And they go like, yeah, but I've already tried this before. Because now, maybe they said they already tried this before, but for how long? Okay, why didn't it all work out? How did you do it? What was the strategy? Like, there's different methods of doing different things. There's different ways of playing basketball. You can play left-handed, you can play right-handed. Some people prefer to shoot three-pointers. Some people prefer to do dunks and layups, right? You can play basketball many different ways. So you want to understand what their objections are, what mental blocks they have as a person. Because in order for you to become successful in any endeavor, you have to kind of embody that. You have to live that. It has to become a lifestyle to some extent. And they may have some mental blocks as a person to not get to that point. And what false paradigms do they have? What are paradigms? Paradigms is everything around us, is our perception on things. If their paradigm is very false and it's not conducive to them getting their result, that's something you have to implement. Okay, and I'll show you exactly how to implement that. But you have to first identify it. And the way to identify that is just do research on your market. Maybe reach out to some people who you'd think are within your ICP and even ask them these questions. Okay, ask them, what's stopping you from getting to your goal? Post that on your story. You can even go to, I made a whole nother video on this. You can go to answerthepublic.com and type in anything to do with your niche, and you will get the top Google searches to do with that specific topic. And last but not least, you're probably wondering why I haven't highlighted this, but it's latent conditions. Now, what are latent conditions, you might be asking? Well, latent conditions are underlying, often undetected factors in a system's design or management that create weaknesses or holes in safety defenses, which can lie dormant for long periods before an active failure or local trigger creates an opportunity for an accident to occur. These systemic flaws, such as inadequate training, poor equipment design, organizational culture, or managerial, I think I said that right, decisions, are not active mistakes, but rather the resident pathogens that increase the likelihood of active errors and must be identified and remedied to improve safety. Now, you're probably thinking, what the hell does that got to do with me? That still doesn't make any sense to me. I completely understand you. This isn't about systems. This isn't about necessarily business. Because we want to take what we can take from this and use it and repurpose it for what we need to know. Now, first thing to identify is, as humans, we know when something is not right. You can feel it. You can feel when you're doing something, you're like, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay? And we know when we are doing something we're not supposed to be doing. Well, you have that innate feeling. You have your gut. You have your intuition. Which means your audience know what they are not supposed to be doing as well. Because we're all human. You're human. Your audience are probably human too. Very likely, unless you have AI audience. But that's very unlikely. Okay? So they probably know what they're supposed to be they're not supposed to be doing as well. Now, this doesn't mean that they are deliberately doing the wrong things. Okay? They might sense that it isn't the right move because they are banging their head against the wall every time as a result of that action. That doesn't mean that they're doing this and they're like, yeah, I know this is wrong, but I'm still going to carry on doing it. They're more doing this because they don't know any better. And the only reason they know that this isn't the right move is because the results don't equate. Okay, if they're doing the outreach, so let me give you an example. POV, point of view, you're an agency owner trying to get your first client through Instagram outreach, and you are sending out copy, paste, templated outreach messages without any personalization to the prospect. You could probably make this a little better. Okay, you know that there's got to be a better way of doing this, but you don't know any better. And that's my point. So the whole point of a latent condition is that there are these systemic errors that you're making that increase the likelihood of failure or something or an accident occurring. Now, this isn't necessarily a mistake. It's more like something you're doing and it will cause a mistake as time goes on. It's more like a big explosion waiting to explode. It's a mistake that's just waiting to occur. And you need to pick up on these if you are going to speak to your audience and you're going to sell something expensive. Because once you do that, that is when you're going to make the most money. And that's exactly what I'm doing in this video right here. Okay. So how do we actually use latent conditions? Well, essentially, you can say something along the lines of like, are you an agency owner constantly sending out outreach messages, but getting no responses? Now, it's pretty obvious that they're not getting any responses, but they've only sent out, let's say, only 100 messages. Now, they haven't sent out 1,000 to really confirm that. They're still on the verge of like, I don't know if this is going to work. Maybe I should send out, 10 times the amount and see what happens. And if you catch them in that space right there, that is what we call latent conditions. These are things that they really, really resonate with, because they will resonate with the fact that they are an agency owner and they're trying to get a client, but they're not getting any responses to their outreach messages. But you only caught them because you know that they are probably an agency owner trying to get that first client for Instagram outreach, and their coach or their guru or their mentor told them to send these copy-paste templated outreach messages without any personalization to the prospect. And you know that's not going to get results. So you're ahead of the curve. You're taking 2-3 steps ahead to just call them out on it before they make that huge mistake of sending 1,000 messages rather than 100. And that's what we call a latent condition. Now, how do you communicate these over, you might be asking? Well, essentially, I've done this very amazing, beautiful diagram here where you have an emoji of someone speaking, okay? And this will be you speaking. And you'll be speaking to your audience right here, and they'll be listening. Now, you can communicate this through your YouTube videos, through your lead magnets, through your copywriting, sales calls, VSLs, or video sales letters, short form content. You can do this whichever way you want, through your ads. Now, this is why I'm saying this is so important, because once you identify all of these things, like their previous attempts and their beliefs, you're able to start breaking them down and calling your audience out through everything you do in your marketing. And this is exactly how it works. So if we get onto inbound systems, I'm going to use myself as an example, and you can see very, very clear distinctions into why it works for me. Now, again, I have 3 different types of YouTube videos that you can literally copy the format off and the concept of yourself that I'm going to explain in this video right here, and it's going to work for you as well. And I've covered these in previous videos, especially the funnel breakdowns that I do, because I break down the type of content they do, so feel free to check that out on my channel as well. But there are 3 different types of YouTube videos you can post, and it's top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. Now, let's actually take the YouTube videos themselves. Top of the funnel is aimed to attract, right? It gains a lot of exposure. People get to know me more. They get to know who I am. I get more eyeballs and attention on me. And last but not least, in most cases, the viewer leaves the video feeling more motivated than before, because I've exposed something that maybe really lit a light bulb up in their head. And they're like, wow, this guy knows his crap, okay? And it's the same thing here. And as a result of that, this video got me 12,000 views. Okay, and you could see a very clear distinction in views between all of this. Feel free to check this out on my channel, right? So the top of the funnel is just to get exposure. Now, middle of the funnel is more me speaking about my expertise, is more me positioning myself as an authority in the video. And maybe the video that I'm making right here is more middle of the funnel as well, the one that you're watching, okay? Top of the funnel is me just laying out something that I know will entertain people, educate them, and overall expose someone else's system, right? Or someone else's sales process. Here, I'm speaking about my own. I'm speaking about case studies. I'm speaking about me positioning myself as an authority and teaching you something new without using somebody else's brand to account to that. And as you see, there's a very clear distinction of 558 views right here. And this was posted around the same time. And the whole point of a middle of the funnel video is to educate. Now, this has a chance to get a lot of views. It doesn't mean that it's not going to get a lot of views just because it's middle of the funnel. But the whole point of this is to provide value and sell the mechanism. Now, the chances are that if you're watching this video right now, you're probably like, damn, this guy knows what he's talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, and I'm just kind of laying it all out to you so it makes a lot more sense. But me doing that is providing you value. And if I provide you enough value to make you enough money, you're probably going to end up booking a call with me directly. So you can get my help on making you more money. Because if I can make you money from my YouTube videos, you better bet I'm probably going to make you money if we work one-on-one together as well. And with these middle of the funnel videos, even if you don't end up taking action on it, you probably leave the video feeling like you've actually learned something, if this was of value. And I know this is going to be of value because I do this for every one of my clients, and I'm just dropping it on my YouTube because I don't really hold anything back. I don't gatekeep anything. And last but not least, we have the bottom of the funnel videos, which is more like, you could see, again, 192 views, right? This was posted before both of these, but it got less views. Why? Because it's bottom of the funnel. This is not aimed for exposure. Can it go viral? Perhaps. Are the chances very likely? Not at all. They're like 0.1%. Now, the whole point of this is to give straight value and straight social proof. It shows a lot of social proof, and that this has worked for someone else. Now, feel free to check out the interviews on my YouTube channel, because that will only prove it to you that this does work for other people. I work with some fairly large clients in the space, and that is going to give you all the credibility that you need to probably pull the trigger to get my help for your coaching business as well. And I don't have a problem with that. That's how my funnel works, and I'm teaching you to replicate the exact same thing. And what do you want to do with your content strategy exactly? This is the exact same thing I teach to a lot of my clients, but essentially you have a macro problem for your audience. In this case, it will be getting over trauma, healing from trauma. This can be getting rich through money, making money online business models. This can be making or getting rich through physical business models. This can be becoming an NBA player. This can be passing your exams. This is the macro problem, or the macro solution even, right? This is the macro problem that you have. Their current situation is their macro problem. And what they want to fix is those specific things that I just listed. Now, under those macro problems, you have micro problems. And these micro problems, in this case, let's say it is, I want to be a successful agency owner, making 7 figures a year. Now, the micro problems to that, the fact that you're not a successful agency owner yet, is you need to do client outreach. You need to learn client fulfillment. You need to learn how to post content properly. And you might need to learn how to learn ads. Okay? Now you have these little pillars. Okay? These are called content pillars. And once you have content pillars, now you have endless amounts of YouTube videos to post. Because if your ICP needs help with client acquisition, you can speak about even micro problems like their sales. You could make a video about outreach. You can make a video about YouTube, okay? You can make a video about ads. You see what I mean here? And each of these videos has a tiny little solution. Now, why would people buy your course after you give everything away on YouTube? Well, for this exact same reason. You want to give all the information away for free and sell the implementation, because that's going to make you a lot more money. Because the way our human minds work is the more value we get up front, the more we trust someone. Okay? With this type of content, people get to know, they get to like you, and they get to trust you. Once you have all of these free things, that is when someone is prepped to buy from you. And the only way to do that is to not really hold anything back and give them as much value, because that way you can prove that you actually know what you're speaking about. And that way you're also a case study yourself. You are the case study. You don't need any more case studies. You are the case study. And again, more case studies like this type of content just pushes the prospect over the edge. So again, you have a micro problem here. Let's say the next one is, I don't know how to fulfill for my clients. Okay, well, we have systems that we can give you. So this is the system that automates my entire client process. We have how to streamline your onboarding process. We have how to increase your retention with your clients. You see what I mean? There is a solution to each, or there's multiple solutions to each micro problem. The macro problem is that they're not rich, or they're still traumatized, or they still can't sleep at night, or they still can't pass their exams. But the micro problems are, how do I study properly? How do I make time? How do I manage my time? How do I say no to friends and family so I can revise for my exams? And you need to solve these micro problems, and there is multiple solutions, because client acquisition isn't as simple as just sending a message and you get paid. It is, you send the message, you conversate, you get them booked in on a call, you have to set up the reminders, you have to get them on a sales call, and you still have to close that deal. And then what do you do after that deal? Because once you fix that problem, you hop into the next one. Once this problem is fixed, guess what? Another one appears. So your YouTube channel is an endless cycle of solutions. But the way for them to get all of these solutions at once is to get one-on-one help from you, which is why they would end up paying you a lot of money, because you've already provided so much cash. You've already provided so much value to them. Why would they not pay you? They'd feel stupid to not pay you. And that's exactly how this works. Now, if we just quickly go into the funneling side of things, okay, this is something that I think is very, very important for you to understand. But it's essentially, these are the 5 stages of awareness. And you have your audience who will be unaware. You have problem aware audience, solution aware, product aware, and most aware. Now, what are these? I think a lot of them are pretty self-explanatory, but I'm gonna just quickly brush through these. Unaware is like they have no clue what their problems are. They have no clue where they want to be. They are practically lost. These are like lost causes. The chances are if you're just posting Instagram reels and you're trying to go viral, you're probably just attracting a whole load of these people. People who are just not driven. They don't really want anything out of life. They don't even know what direction they want to go in. Now, you have the problem aware people, which is people that you can deal with. It's definitely a good first step. They know they have a problem. They just don't know the solution yet. Okay? Then next, you have the problem and solution aware people. People who they know they have a problem and they know exactly what they need to do to fix that problem. They just don't know who to go to. And then you have almost second to last stage, which is product aware. So now they know what the problem is. They know what they need to do to fix that problem. And now they know that your product will fix that problem. And that is the position you want to be in. And of course, the most aware is people who know all of these things and they want your help. They are dying for your help. And that is the stage that we want to get to if we want to charge a lot of money. Because if people are problem aware, the solution aware, and the product aware, they are going to pay you a lot of money, okay? They know of your product and what it does, but haven't gotten around to purchasing it yet. And that's exactly what we want to do. So let me break it down for you. If you are posting Instagram Reels or TikTok, do you think someone is going to get to know you very, very quickly? Chances are probably not, because Google research study shows that someone has to watch at least 7 hours of your content or consume at least 7 hours of your content to be able to buy from you. And if TikTok and Instagram are like 30 to 40 seconds each, are they going to really watch 7 hours of your content? Or in this case, how long is it really going to take them for them to be problem aware, solution aware, even product aware? It's going to be very, very hard. So the way you want to funnel people is if they come from Instagram or TikTok, or in other words, your short form content, you want to try collect their information, because the way when you collect their information, now you can put them in the email list. You can now have a team call them up, which is everything we handle for our clients on a complete done for you basis. We do all of this. Link in the description, by the way, if you want my help with this. But you collect their information and you contact them and you send them value. That way you fulfill these 7 hours so much quicker than you anticipated. Then you want to provide value up front, because these people don't really know who you are yet. They might be problem aware, okay? But they might not be solution aware. And the only way to make them solution aware is by giving them value. Make them realize what's possible if they get over those mental blocks. And you want to provide an educator funnel, which is something a lot of successful entrepreneurs in the space do, a lot of successful coaches, and I break down most of their funnels, so feel free to check out the rest of my YouTube channel for all of that. Now, if you have mid-awareness, let's say someone has been watching your TikTok or Instagram for months now. They're probably at mid-awareness, maybe even weeks. Now, you could funnel them straight to VSL or, to educate. You want to educate them. You can funnel them straight to a VSL page, which I'm going to break down in just a second, okay? These can come from YouTube as well, mid-awareness. It depends what type of video. If they came from a top of the funnel video, so if they came from one of these videos, then, they're mid-awareness. If they came from like one of these videos, then they are like super aware. You see the difference? You want to give a lot of credibility. You're going to need credibility on this. They're not entirely sold in who you are. They might be problem solution aware, but they might not be product aware entirely. And that's something you have to give them. And essentially you want to make the process very frictionless. So there's no real need to collect their information, because the chances of them ghosting or something along those lines or forgetting about it is a lot lower than if they are low awareness. The last thing you want to be dealing with is getting people opting in or even booking in a call, and then you have to explain the business model to them on the call. I cannot think of anything worse than that. And then last but not least, high awareness. Now here you just want to be straightforward. You don't want to waste time. You don't want to include an extra step in the funnel. Keep in mind, each click is decreasing the chances that someone is going to end up buying from you. So if you can decrease the amount of clicks, like if we go to my page right here, okay, you go to this page, you have my page right here, VSL, step 2, booking a call straight away. Not that many clicks. You don't have to click on a separate page, nothing. You're just booking for a call straight away. Again, direct to book a call. You can have a button to book a call. You can make them book on the same page, completely up to you. You can even make them go through a type form if you want to filter them out, which I do for a lot of my clients. Or you can literally just send them sales assets to nurture them. Okay, you want to after they book in that call, you still want to keep them warm. You want to keep sending them any YouTube interviews you have, or any case studies, anything that they can look at to kind of warm themselves up to the fact that it does work for other people. So if I just kind of break it down for you, this is something that we were doing for one of my clients, ADH Doers. It's a pretty large theme page on Instagram, but essentially this is kind of what we did. The offer was very unorthodox, so don't take it exactly for how you should set yours out. But we had an opt-in page where we collected their name, email, and phone number, right? And right here, you've probably seen one of these pages where you might have like a fake video or something like that. You click this button and it will tell you to opt in with your name, email, and phone number. Then you get taken to another page, which is a video page or a VSL page, whatever you want to call it. And then you have a big headline, you will have a video, and you'll probably have a button or a calendar or a Typeform embed, something along those lines, okay? And once you've opted in, now they've opted into the email sequence, meaning we can spam their emails. If they opted in with their phone number, we can also have a team call them up right away, just getting them booked in on a call. So instead of them going and watching this whole video or anything like that, they can go straight to the confirmation page after getting booked in for a call by our team. And last but not least, once they book in for a call, or in this case it was actually buy from us, we used a confirmation page, which was as simple as this. I'd recommend actually having a video on here. I actually have one for myself that I use. So if you are end up booking in a call with me, you'll be able to see that video. But essentially, it's just a confirmation video laying out some expectations and what to expect. And this is myself, right? This is the exact page that you would see if you are to click the link in my description. And by the way, if you want help laying out any of these systems that I've covered in this video so far today, literally click the first link in the description. You'll be taken to this page where you can book in for a business order call with me. It's literally me, not a sales rep, by the way. But here I can also help you with your coaching business and help point you in the right direction. But essentially, this is what a VSL page would look like, but this is a VSL and a booking or an application page at the same time. But that is essentially what you want to do, okay? I really hope this video was of value to you. I know we covered quite a lot, but this is essentially how I'm able to close $6,000 deals back to back. And it's not really that hard because every single person that shows up on a call with me knows that I can help them. They know that I know what I'm speaking about, and they are confident that I can scale their coaching business. So if you are a coach and you resonate with everything I taught you in this video right here, as I said, click the first link in the description. No pressure call. I literally go over your business and see if there's any actionable steps that you can take towards your conversion system. And even if we can help in the first place, look, I can't help everybody. My spots are limited, to be completely honest. And also, if you did enjoy this video, I thank you for watching till the end. All I need you to do is leave a like, subscribe so you never miss any of my future videos, and I'll see you in the next one.